Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all your favorite TV series from yesteryear and discuss them over a glass of Christmas cheer. I'm your boy, Santa's elf himself, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by my Christmas connoisseur, Cat also the Jingler.
I was not expecting the grunt. Like, I should have been, but I wasn't, and it took me by surprise.
You know what? I thought about it earlier, and then I forgot about it till literally the last second, and it just popped in my head. I didn't practice it, so I don't know. I don't know how good it is. I don't know. How would you rate it on a grunt scale?
It's pretty good for just, like, off the top of your head, not planning it.
1 out of 5, Lisa the Tool Titty coworkers. How many Lisa the Tool Time Lady coworkers would you give this?
Could all you think about were her breasts?
I mean, we didn't really see Pamela Anderson's face in this episode, let's be real. Like, we mostly just saw her breasts.
I mean, you don't see her for very much of this, so.
No, I mean, she literally comes out, and she's wearing a kind of like a little like elf hat thing, and her face is like obscured, and all you just see are her breasts. Obviously, ABC knows their market. Am I right?
Yeah.
They got Pamela Denise Anderson. That's how she's billed as in this, by the way, on the ending credits. Pamela Denise.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, okay.
Was she trying to do like a Jamie Lee Curtis thing?
I don't know. She's probably just trying to, like, figure out her identity, because this is, like, early on in her career, man.
Yeah, she probably is only known for, like, dating Scott Baio, I think, at this point. And
Maybe, if that.
that might be it, right?
I don't know, and I don't feel like looking it up.
I know. Then I forever have that data, like, in my Google history.
Yeah.
So in case you haven't quite figured it out, we're doing a Christmas episode. Here comes the jingles here at the podcast.
It's Holly Jolly something. I don't remember right now. I keep trying to make like Holly Jolly something a thing, and it doesn't work.
I feel like you said it once, and that was it. And I, like, didn't pick up on it till after the fact.
Maybe.
It's a Holly Jolly month?
I don't remember right now. I'll have to look it up.
We'll workshop it. Here comes the jingles. Doesn't sound too appetizing.
No, it sounds like we're talking about commercials.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That should have been our commercial corner. How about just Christmas corner? Jesus Christ. Like,
No.
It's our thing. Corners are our thing. No, you don't like it.
Right.
How about the Kringle corner?
Oh my god, stop.
Well, we're doing the first season Christmas episode of Home Improvement.
Yes.
We're like going backwards with Home Improvement for some reason, too. We started like season 4, then we jumped to season 2.
I know, we just, we jump around, we go what we feel is appropriate at the time.
Yeah, you know what? It took us 7 years to get here, and I feel like this is the perfect time to do this episode, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Nice, simple, quaint holiday episode.
I mean, quaint isn't probably the word that I'd use. It's kind of evil. All right, so this episode is season 1, episode 12. It's called Yule Better Watch Out. We get a nice little pun in the title.
Yeah.
Which, I was going through the Home Improvement titles. There's a lot of puns in them, so shout out to the writers.
Yeah.
Punning it up, for keeping things punny on the show for like all 8 seasons, I think. I think we've had like 8 hot years, right?
Yeah, I think it was an 8th season.
Yeah, the show aired from what, 91 to 2000? It ended in the spring of 2000?
Oh no, it ended in 99.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, it started September 17th, 1991, and its final episode was May 25th, 1999.
All right, so you know what? We were juniors. We were hot juniors when the show was wrapping up.
Yes.
JTT said he was going to join, I don't know, go to Harvard, but he was really like doing movies, and a pissed off Tim Allen, pissed off boy.
Yeah.
You know what? I apologize for calling Tim Allen my boy, because he is 100% not a boy. I just really did not like Tim in this episode. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I know why, but I don't know how you feel. I don't know how the lady of the pod feels.
Sorry, I was just like, I have like the Google search for Home Improvement up. And after, like, the basic info of, like, what the show was, when it aired, where you can find it to watch, like, when it's going to be on TV. Apparently the channel Up airs it.
Okay. Shout out to Up. Not to be confused with a Pixar movie.
Yeah, and then, like, the cast, and then, like, a couple of video clips. And then it's like, people also ask, which Home Improvement kid died?
I saw that.
So I opened the which Home Improvement kid died. I was like, what are they talking about? They're all alive. I'm like, Zachary Ty Bryant, like, just got arrested, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Maybe
And then I click it and it's like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And I'm like, wait, what?
Did he die in a movie or something?
Like, I'm so confused. And it opens up his like Wikipedia page. He's not dead, so I don't know why it goes to that.
I don't know. Maybe they're thinking of like Different Stroke Kids or something. I don't know.
Well, no, Todd Bridges is still alive.
Yeah, he's the sole survivor. He's the final girl.
Well, unless you add in the redhead boy.
Like Danny Cooksey, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really count him because he was like only in it for maybe a season.
Yeah.
If even that. All I know is I wanted to look up, for some reason I wanted to know like if there were like blogs discussing like how evil Randy Taylor is. I couldn't find a blog that stated that, but I did find that at some point in the 90s, at one point, Hillary Clinton's handlers thought that she should go on Home Improvement because it might humanize her and make her more likable. I was like, whoa.
Oh my god. I just want to point, like, even in the 90s, they were like, she's not likable enough. We gotta work on this.
Yeah, they were going to work on like an image, like have a whole little image tour.
And it still didn't work, did it?
You know what? They should have put her on Home Improvement. I could only imagine what her storyline would be. You know what? Maybe she's one of Jill's classmates or like Jill's teacher. Who knows?
Like, I'm just trying to be like, to hear her say, I don't think so, Tim. Yeah, no, it would have felt wrong and awkward.
You know what? Maybe they could have paired her up with Wilson. Maybe it could have been like one of Wilson's floozies. I like to think that like Wilson has like a whole like brothel of women living in that house that we never see.
Because Wilson's obviously a cult leader.
I don't know. I just picture kind of like a like underground mole woman type scenario.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. Like the people that made Kimmy Schmidt, they based the idea off Wilson. I don't know why. I just like that idea. And they're underground right now, like spinning a wheel.
Oh my god.
It keeps the power going. That's why they have enough power in the neighborhood to supply all that Christmas lights this holiday season.
We have very different, like, takes on this show.
I don't know. Home Improvement's a pretty dark show if you really look at it.
I mean, yeah, I can see where you say that, but...
All right, you want to, before we get into the nitty-gritty, before we get into the dark undertones of Home Improvement, do you want to talk about what we were doing this night? Like what was going on in our lives and in the world of entertainment?
Well, as best as I can via cat math.
All right. December 17th, 1991. We were 10 years old, probably in the fourth grade?
Yeah, fourth grade.
I had Mrs. Phillips for homeroom and every other class because I didn't have other classes.
I was like, what do you mean for homeroom? I had Mrs. McElroy.
Ooh, I like that name already.
And Miss Connect for my, like, spelling.
I think of Miss McElroy, I think of her as being Macklemore's mother for some reason. I don't know why. And shout out to your spelling teacher. That's why you're a good author these days, because of your spelling teacher, your fourth grade spelling teacher.
So we're 10 years old. We're in the fourth grade.
Yeah, this is probably the year I got maybe Super Nintendo for Christmas. Maybe this is the year. I feel like this, or Genesis, one of those two. I had both, but I don't know when I got them.
Don't remember what I got this year.
Maybe you got a Polly Pocket.
Like, the year before was, like, Little Miss Magic Makeup or something like that. Because I remember the Little Miss Magic Makeup was, like, you put the, like, sponge in the ice-cold water and her lips would change to, like, look like she was wearing makeup or something. But I don't remember what I got when I was 10.
Barbies. I'm sure Barbies were always in.
Yeah, it was probably a Barbie or something.
I think we're way beyond My Little Pony, where, like, that ship has sailed. Maybe, maybe like, you got, like, the special edition, like, Belle from Beauty and the Beast Barbie.
No, I never had that. Oh, you know what? It was a Barbie. I think I got some of my collector Barbies this year, like my Pretty and Peach Barbie.
Is it Molly Ringwald, but Peach?
I'll send you a picture.
All right, we'll put it on the gram. And I'll put a pic of my Super Nintendo, me playing Super Nintendo when I was 10 years old. I probably had like a Bud Bundy mullet. All right, you want to talk about this night in television? All right, I don't care what the hell you say. This is a hot night of television. If you tell me otherwise, I'm going to replace you with fucking Pamela Denise Anderson.
Oh, God.
I'm going to unearth her from somewhere. I don't know where she's at these days.
You can't replace me.
You want to start off with our boys at ABC, The Alphabet?
Okay.
This is like a standard night of Tuesday night at ABC. Can you guess the lineup tonight? I feel like you can.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about all of these. I mean, we've talked about them. We've done them all except for one. But we definitely have talked about the fourth one in depth numerous times.
Roseanne, Home Improvement, The Wonder Years Coach.
You're so close. The Wonder Years... You got wrong. It's Full House, girl. Full House. The fuck? This is like the first year it moved to Tuesday.
I keep forgetting that Full House moved to Tuesdays because eventually I gave up Full House to watch Saved by the Bell the college years.
And this wasn't even that year.
Yeah, it wasn't. I forgot.
You have like 2 more years before you have to go give up on Full House. Yeah, so we had Full House at 8. Tonight's episode was Sisters in Crime. This is when DJ is the babysitter and she fears the repercussions when Michelle and Stephanie are caught trying to sneak into a movie theater.
Okay, because DJ's on a date with, like, I think it's Steve.
Might be. Are we too early for Steve? I feel like we might be too early for Steve for some reason.
No, like, there was, like, okay, so, like, Steve popped up, like, once before they went to, like, Spain and met and fell in love in Spain.
Okay. And maybe the producers liked him.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, let's bring that boy back.
He showed initiative.
He was cute. And now he's, like, DJ's one true pair.
Yeah, and he's, like, a director of Fuller House, I think.
He was actually, like, a really fun character on Fuller House. There were a couple characters that I could have, like, had less of, but, like, Steve was a good character.
I'm going to throw this out there. You know how I feel about Fuller House, so I can't answer those questions. But does he sneak in the fridge a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Does he do the staple Steve move where he sneaks in the fridge?
Like, there are times where it's not even, like, he opens the fridge, they just, like, hand him food, because they, like, know he's going to show up.
Oh.
So they have a plate made for him.
They know. All right. Following Full House, we get our boys at Home Improvement. We'll get to you in a minute. Stay put. Stay in the car. We'll be back soon. All right. Following Home Improvement at 9 o'clock is Roseanne. Yeah. We get a Christmas-themed episode of Roseanne. This year is the one where she works at the mall as a Santa Claus.
Okay. This is the one where she finds out that, like, the friend Darlene has been hanging out with is actually, like, some 30-something-year-old woman who has a kid and owns a bookstore and wants to go to, like, a Star Trek convention.
I think her name is Karen, too, like, to make it even better.
I think it is.
Yeah, what a time. What a time to be alive. And shout out to Roseanne being a lady Santa. At my family Christmas parties back in the day, we actually had a lady Santa, so you know what? I can relate, girl. I can relate. And you got it right at ABC 9:30. We got Coach. Yeah, shout out to Coach. Tonight's episode, a bizarre limbo accident sidelines the team's star player prior to the Pineapple Bowl, which is in Hawaii, I think? I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Hawaii.
And then at 10 o'clock. I'm excited for 10 o'clock. Do you remember a show called Homefront?
No, not at all.
All right, this was a nostalgia-drenched nighttime soap opera. It's about a guy who returns home from World War II in 1945, like rural Ohio. He's eager to link up with his old girlfriend. They're going to get married, but guess what? While he was away fighting the Nazis, she fell in love with his brother Jeff, played by the delightful Kyle Chandler.
Ooh.
It was on for 2 years. Hot scoop, Roger Slattery was also in the show as a Jewish union organizer who at one point in the show was accused of being a communist sympathizer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Were you ready for that one?
I was not ready for that one.
Whoa. Roger Sterling, communist sympathizer? We gotta blacklist him. Get him out of the union.
Yes.
You ready for the Tiffany Network? You ready to see what America's Eye is up to tonight? It's a good night. At CBS. Any guesses? Any hot guesses?
Knots Landing.
No, not tonight, unfortunately. They took the night off, maybe. Tonight,
Okay.
8 o'clock, Rescue 911. The popular William Shatner hosted reality show which focused on police, paramedics, firefighters, and ordinary people in dramatized reenactments of actual 911 calls. And sometimes they'd actually use real footage if they had it. I don't know. I was obsessed with this show. I just remember watching this all the time.
I remember my grandpa watching it and my uncles.
I remember the episode about the kid running with scissors. The little girl's running with scissors, and she accidentally runs into her brother, and
Oh my God.
he gets stabbed, and they have to call, and like the little girl calls 911. I think the parents aren't home.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's the 80s or 90s. The parents are never around. They're just latchkey kids.
Quick question I have for you. How many times in your life have you had to call 911?
Once. Because I thought I was burning the house down. But it was really just like a problem with the furnace. Like the oil cap was off. So like there was just black smoke everywhere. And I thought like the house was on fire.
Oh, okay.
How about you?
I have called 911 8 times in the last year.
Wow, you're like a seasoned pro. Like, you call up, you're like, hey, Sue.
Yeah, I call and collected. I'm like, okay, my name, my phone number, the address I'm at, yada yada, like this. They're like, okay, dude. I'm like, okay, honey, it's gonna be okay. You're fine. The ambulance is on the way.
Stu and Eric are on the way. So I was, it's whenever the third Matrix movie came out. I was living at my aunt's house at the time. I was living in her basement. I was like fucking David from Roseanne. My friend wanted to go see the third Matrix movie, and I wasn't feeling too good. I wasn't feeling too hot. I had like a bit of a sore throat and a headache. I was probably hungover too, and I was like, I'm just gonna chill at home today. I think. Methinks. So I laid down, took a nap. I woke up and it was just like I don't know how long later, but it was just like smoke all around me, and I like freaked out. Couldn't find my way out.
Oh God.
Couldn't find my way out. And I finally got outside. I'm like frantic on the phone, and they came by and they're like, "Yeah, it's not a fire. It's your furnace cap is off, so there's just like oil smoke going everywhere." I don't know. And then it smelled like oil for like a month after that.
Oh, yikes.
Good times. Good times. All right. Any hot guesses at what could possibly be going on at CBS 9 o'clock? Any inkling? It has a dog in it. It has a dog in it.
The New Adventures of Lassie.
No, but kind of in that line. Tonight's a CBS Tuesday movie special. It's the broadcast premiere of Turner and Hooch.
Oh, okay.
Starred Tom Hanks and like a cute dog. And I remember like seeing this movie when I was young. I don't like remember it. And then like 3 or 4 years ago, I was on Netflix and I was like about to go to bed, and I thought I was gonna like just something lighthearted, watch it before I go to sleep. And I forgot that the dog dies at the end. He gets shot.
Oh my God.
He gets shot, and I was like up all night. I was like mortified. I was like, I was not ready for that.
Wasn't Henry Winkler in this?
Henry Winkler is the director of the movie. I don't know if he's actually in it though. I can't remember, but I knew he was involved.
Because I remember there's like something about like Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks didn't get along. And like there was some tweet from Henry Winkler not too long ago about like how Tom Hanks is not like Mr. Nice Guy or something. And I just remember going, wait, what?
Craig T. Nelson's in it though, who I forgot about. Oh, a friend of the show, Craig T. Nelson. All right.
Ooh, I love me some Craig T. Nelson.
You ready to end the night with the Peacocks? I don't have any Fox data for some reason. I don't know what's on Fox.
Okay.
All right.
Probably nothing, because this was still when Fox was developing.
Yeah, or maybe they just had like sports on or something. Maybe there was like figure skating.
I don't think Fox had sports in 1991.
Maybe it was like a night for the local affiliates.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like WFOX Night at the Movies.
So the Peacock. Do you remember a show called I'll Fly Away?
I remember hearing of it. I want to say a timepiece. Like, I want to say 30s, 40s kind of thing.
It's a small southern town during the 1950s.
Oh, okay.
It's about a black housekeeper and single mother, played by Regina Taylor, whom she brings a new perspective onto race relations to her employer, a local district attorney, played by Sam Watterson, and his 3 kids. Hot scoop, the show was canceled after 2 seasons in the spring of 1993, but a wrap-up movie aired in October 1993, which took place in the present. But they also did like flashbacks to the 50s to like see how things like wrapped up for the gang. So like that's like the only time in the world like we ever really got like a wrap up, I think. Well, like one of the few. They always say they're gonna do like a wrap up movie and we never get it.
I'm looking at you, Freeform. I'm waiting for my Young and Hungry movie, assholes.
Isn't there a Greek movie too that's supposed to come out?
But the Greek was supposed to be like a reunion movie, but Freeform promised a movie because Young and Hungry ends on this cliffhanger of Gabby getting like this amazing job offer and Josh was like about to propose and
all those people mean nothing to me. I don't even know who I never even heard of this show.
It was on ABC Family / Freeform. It's on Netflix and it's amazing and it's adorable. Emily Osment is just charming as hell.
All right, what's a hot name on it? Like, who's the hot name?
Emily Osment.
Crickets. It's her cricket sound effect.
She was Lily on Hannah Montana. She is Haley Joel's sister.
Still got crickets. Still crickets. All right. You ready for NBC 9 o'clock? You ready to what the Peacock has to shoot at us tonight?
Yeah.
Any guesses? Any hot guesses? Any inkling? Anything? Just throw a show out there.
Law and Order.
Close. I mean, that's coming up in an hour. But before Law and Order, it's a classic episode of In the Heat of the Night, starred Carol O'Connor, down in the bayou, solving bayou-related crimes. Like, I don't know, why is there a body in the swamp?
So basically, NBC spent like 2 hours down south and then went up to New York City.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. You know what? They probably hailed it as that night. They hyped it up like tonight, Tuesday nights down south with NBC first. I'll Fly Away. Regina Taylor's character causes a ruckus at the local schoolhouse, and then following I'll Fly Away, Archie Bunker finds a body in the bayou, half eaten by an alligator, and I don't know, covered in copperheads. Who did the
Oh
crime?
my god.
I don't know. I've never actually seen an episode of In the Heat of the Night. That's just my impression of it.
One day we're just gonna watch it on Amazon, but we haven't.
You know what? Tonight might be the night. I'll probably 3-page book report on it, and I'll print it out and mail it to you.
I'm gonna like get off work and check my DMs, and it's gonna be like Patrick having just watched like In the Heat of the Night, like his live reaction. I'm gonna be like, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a screen cap of like the title card, starting with that, and then there'll be like the first shot. It'll be like a body in the bayou, half eaten by an alligator.
Well, like that's basically what you did the other night with the Danny Thomas show.
That is true. You know what? You only got the title card. You didn't get all the other fun little
True, I just did get the title card.
You didn't hear the fun shenanigans in which Danny and his new bride, they're upset with their kids, so they pull off their belts and beat their kids because that happens in 1950s television series.
What the hell?
They even make a joke about the like one of the kids like drinking from a bottle.
Holy crap. Meanwhile, I'm here like just sending you pictures of Queen Erin Hayes.
Yeah, dressed up like an extra in a fucking bad 80s movie.
It was an episode of the Goldbergs.
She kind of looks like the nemesis on Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion to me. Like Meanie Christini or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see it.
That's the vibe I get. All right. You ready to end the night? We kind of teased it. But I got some hot tidbits on Law & Order.
Okay.
This season of Law & Order is the first one to feature Jill Hennessy as District Attorney Claire Kincaid, who would remain on the series until 1996. You know her, right?
Yeah.
DA Kincaid. The character was written out after Hennessy expressed concern about being typecast as an uptight lawyer. And so, they just wrote her off the show, and she was in a drunk driving car accident. She was driving Lenny Briscoe home from the bar because he was a little inebriated. Surprise, a drunk driver actually ends up hitting her, and they originally intended for her to be paralyzed. That's like how they shot it. Mm-hmm. And then she found out like later on that her character had actually died because she thought she was going to come back at some point in time, but they killed her off. They're like, nope, You don't want to be an uptight lawyer? Like, you're done, girl. I don't know. Law & Order, if you ever find yourself on Law & Order and you're upset that you're playing an uptight lawyer, just stick with it.
I mean, what other options are there other than for them to become a ghost? You don't get that reference. You didn't get it because on SVU they killed off one of the DAs and then she became a ghost because she was actually in witness protection.
Oh, was it Elizabeth Rome or whatever her name is? The blonde?
No. But it was a blonde. No, it was the first one. Oh my god, now I'm going to be mad.
You ready? You ready to, Yule better watch out? You ready to get into this wild world?
Yeah, let's get into this wild world.
I have so much to say about this opening segment of Tool Time. We're like, in Tool Time, we're on the set of Detroit's 4th top cable show. I looked it up. They're doing like Christmas safety tips. Is that like today's?
Yeah, like, they're just doing the like, oh, if your wires are frayed, don't use this string of lights kind of thing.
Yeah, and Tim's like, why do they call it a fray liar? Because it's afraid? The look that Al Borland gives Tim Taylor, what am I doing here? Like how many years are left of my contract?
This is definitely one of those moments where Al is questioning his life choices.
Oh, for sure. Like, you know what? He's probably like, they probably promised him like a spin-off like earlier in the year. They're like, you know what? Everyone loves you, Al, on Tool Time. We're thinking of giving you your own thing. And then, I don't know, maybe, like, things fell through. Maybe they couldn't get, maybe, like, Binford was upset because they have, like, a real big thing going with Tim. Mm-hmm. And Binford's like, no, we don't like Al. We don't like Al Ponyboy Borland.
No.
Him and his fucking, like, flannel plaid wearing blue jeans. Like, plans fell through. So he's just like, I hate my life.
Well, okay. Think about it. Like, who is probably the more charismatic person on camera? Tim or Al?
Tim. Al's your straight man.
Yeah, like, Al may have the knowledge. Oh, you know what? Tim has the knowledge, but he always, like, he just thinks too big, and he wants to go too far.
And he doesn't know how to execute. He's like, let's throw 50 things at the wall and see what sticks kind of guy. That's Tim in a nutshell. And he's kind of like, he's kind of a jerk, too. Like, he always makes fun of Al's mother, calling her, like, overweight and stuff, and makes fun of him for wearing plaid. Kind of sexist.
Yeah.
We get a shot, at one point, we get a shot of the audience, the Tool Time audience, and they're all wearing red hats. And I just, like, my mind immediately just went towards, like, the Make America Great Again hat for some reason. Mm-hmm. All I was thinking of, like, you know what? The 2020 Tool Time audience is the 2020 like walking around America wearing those red hats audience. So those are the same people. You know what? Whenever then I was like thinking, I was like, whenever they show like a Trump rally and we see like an audience of people with like red hats, they're probably just like piping in old like Tool Time clips of the audience.
Oh my gosh.
Did you notice that? Did you notice that scene?
No, I didn't. I totally didn't notice that they were all wearing like red hats. I just like noticed how they were all wearing like crew cut sweatshirts with turtlenecks.
Well, I mean, I think they wear Tool Time hats. Like it's like the Tool Time logo hat, but it just happens to be a red hat.
And that was probably like just the ones Disney ABC gave out that day.
So then they bust out Lisa. She's gonna like turn on the Christmas tree, and Tim's like, oh, you know what? You ever just like look at your Christmas tree and you spend so much time decorating the front of it, but you never do the back, and it's just all that like wasted like land space. I took my old like college record player. And I took like, I don't know, he said he used all these big words. Like I took like the fucking spur and attached it to the fucking jugular box and got some doohickeys. He's like using all these like big words I've never heard of. I mean, I don't know tools. Now the tree's gonna spin. And Al's like, Tim, you should have put the spur in the fucking like junction function bar together. Tim's like, Al, just let me turn on my tree. He like turns it on. And it like runs for a minute, like it's going around for a few seconds.
I have a Christmas tree stand for an artificial tree that will make it do this. It'll have it rotate slowly, but like so you can see like the whole thing.
And I feel like I've seen that at like Macy's and stuff and like department stores. I feel like
like you can go to Hobby Lobby and get like this kind of stand now.
Like, I don't know if this is like cutting edge technology in 1991 or they just needed a joke.
I mean, it might have been like just something you couldn't find very often. It was probably like a thing you could only buy for window decor or something, for a retailer or something.
Tool Time is like a DIY show, so I mean, I guess it's like, why spend the money when all you have to do is just like rejigger some wires and you got your own. Just take your old like crustly turntable from your attic, dust it off, and fix it up. But then there's like a spark.
Yeah.
There's a spark in the base, and all of a sudden the Christmas tree just starts spinning around like way too fast, and like ornaments are like flinging off and attacking Tim, Al, Lisa, the audience. It's so great. I just wish one would have hit fucking Tim in the forehead and he would have been like the ER all episode. And we could have just got like a fun adventure with Jill.
I mean, to be fair, Tim goes to the ER quite often.
Yeah, we learned that in this episode.
We learned that in many episodes.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first one that really gets into it because we meet like the firefighters, the paramedics that are always there, and it's like their fifth time being there that month.
Yeah.
We'll get to it though. We'll get to it. So we cut back from the Tool Time segment and we're in the kitchen. And Jill's like sitting at the table, I don't know, doing homework or something, I don't know, whatever Jill did.
No, this is before that. She's still like stay-at-home mom mode.
Wait, are you sure? Because I thought there's a line where she talks about getting something for her teacher.
No, I think it's for the kid's teacher.
Okay, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Because, we're like deep in Jill is a stay-at-home mom. She does like all the charity, school fundraising.
All right, hold on. I'm bringing up Jill's college career. Early in the series, Jill frequently has problems finding employment. In the pilot episode of the series, she discusses with Tim about how she was passed over for a job interview. However, Jill ultimately goes back to school majoring in psychology. Doesn't fucking...
Like, okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know what?
You gotta think about it like this. Mark is only like 6. Okay, so he's just getting into school. So, Jill has spent the last like 9, 11, 10 years at home with kids.
As we'll see in a minute, her 2 oldest kids, Randy and Brad, are fucking shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark is her last hope. Mark is like Luke Skywalker, A New Hope. Mark Taylor, Episode 4, A New Hope.
I'm sorry, Jill, but Mark goes to the dark side.
He does. You know what? He's really Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Jill's just at the table. I don't know. She's doing something. Maybe she's figuring out the budget. Maybe she's looking at the latest hospital bill from the local hospital. All of Tim's visits.
I mean, at the very least, she's just trying to like figure out like the kids' schedules and what they need for Christmas and all that stuff.
Mark comes downstairs with like that old timey like computer paper with like the perforated sides.
Yes.
Comes down with like 3 of them that are attached together, and he's like, "Oh, I need more paper," and because I'm working on my Christmas list. And Jill like just looks at it real quickly, and she's like, "Mark, I think you're gonna need to take some things off your list. Santa's sleigh is going to be too heavy to carry all this stuff." And he looks at his list. He's like, all right, I'll just take off the most heaviest thing. And he's like, Cocker Spaniel. And he like you see him cross something off. And he's like, bye, Floppy. Bye.
He's like, I don't need the leash.
Jill's still like, all right, how about you just put like a star next to the thing that you really want? And we'll make sure Santa gets the list. And he's like, remote control dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the episode, we see the remote control dinosaur. And it doesn't look that exciting.
I mean, it's 1991. He's a 6-year-old boy.
It kind of looked like Godzilla to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I totally thought it was Godzilla.
Tim's like bringing in a bunch of boxes. And he's like putting them on the couch. And Jill looks up from whatever she's doing. And she's like, how many more boxes of Christmas decorations are you bringing in? And he's like, oh, I got one more in the garage. And then he's like, a few more in the trunk. And she's like, how many's a few? And he's like, I don't know, 10, 11? Mm-hmm. This is the first time we get the Doc Johnson versus Tim Taylor Christmas light contest. It's not the first one in their actual lives, but the first one that we witness.
Yeah, it's the first one we get to be part of. This is an ongoing situation.
Yes, and we kind of learned some like fun things about Doc Johnson that I don't remember. Like I didn't remember that he was a 76-year-old retired proctologist.
That just makes this so much better on so many levels.
Well, they kept calling him the good doctor, and I was like, is he actually a doctor? Or I just thought that was his name, like Doc Johnson. So it kind of threw me off. And then I was like, wait, he was a proctologist? He was an ass man?
Yes, apparently.
Does he hire people to help him with all this stuff, or is he just like a fit 76-year-old guy?
He's got to, because there is no way a 76-year-old dude is getting up on his roof in Detroit in December.
In the middle of winter. It's always cold. There's always snow on the ground and ice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, unless he's like Jack LaLanne, he's like super fit.
Maybe.
Like, how old is Wilson? Is Wilson 76 or lesser or great? I don't even know.
Wait, okay. So we gotta put Tim in his mid to late 30s, okay?
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 35. Yeah, all right. I'll probably say 35.
And then Wilson is older and wiser, so I would say Wilson's like late 40s, early 50s.
What? You think Wilson's that young?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought he was like a retired man.
Wilson had an interesting career. I think he traveled the world. I think he had money. You know what I mean?
Is he like a Vanderbilt?
Could be, maybe. Who knows?
He's like Anderson Cooper's like lost long older brother.
But, he's older, but he's not like super, super old. You know what I mean?
Do you think he's just like life aged him because he's traveling the world? Mm-hmm. He's he's probably in some tough places. Maybe he was like in the jungles during Vietnam. Maybe he was like a reporter. Maybe he was on the front lines reporting for the local newspaper, the Detroit Press, the Detroit Free Press. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe he was like captured by the Viet Cong army. So you think he just kind of like aged?
Because I don't think he's like that old considering,
Well, how old was Earl Hindman, whatever his name was? Let's see.
Let me find out.
He wasn't that old. He was born in 1942.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, you know what? In the 90s, he'd be like in his 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I guess you're right. Yeah, he died young. He died when he was 61 years old, like in the actor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm way off.
Yeah, so okay, if we go by Earl's age, Wilson would have been like 49 in 1991.
Okay, I mean, I guess we don't see his face, so it kind of...
Yeah.
I just kind of like picture a lot older guy. I picture like the old guy, Doc from Fraggle Rock for some reason. I don't know why. But a little bit wiser.
I mean, Doc's probably not as old as you think either. Remember, people also looked older then.
Yeah, that is true.
You know?
He probably smoked. Oh, yeah, you know what? According to Earl Hindman's Wikipedia, he was a lifelong smoker. Earl Hindman was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2003, and he shortly after being diagnosed. So you know what? All those butts aged him, but they didn't age Doc Johnson because he was into a different kind of butt.
And yeah, Tim Allen was 38 years old.
Our age. He's like our age right now.
Yeah, so see?
All right, okay. Tim comes in with the boxes of Christmas lights. Jill's like, this again. Like, I'm just so tired of this. Every year, you just got to try to one-up Doc Johnson. And then, I don't know, you end up like blowing the power out in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
You put up like a questionable Christmas ornament piece that gets everyone in the neighborhood all up. So, like something happens that just upsets the neighbors. The news always is here. They're actually here in this episode too.
I mean, to be fair, Tim is a local celebrity on some level.
That is true.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's got his show. It's watched on cable all throughout the country. I mean, to be fair, cable still is just really starting to get its like every household sort of situation, you know?
Yeah, and Tool Time is the fourth most watched show in Detroit. So like he's like a star. He's like a major player.
So him getting into this lighting contest every year, and it's something that I know later on in the series he talks about on Tool Time, I think.
Yeah, it becomes part of the plot on Tool Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? He has to garner those fans, like those votes, because there's like a vote, right? Like a neighborhood vote.
He's up against Doc Johnson, this old dude who Doc Johnson must really like have a nice like design, you know?
You never like see his facade. You never like see him. You never see his house or anything.
Yeah.
I have like this huge like build up in my mind. I'm just picturing like a McMansion, like this giant mansion, like at the end of the street, and it's just this wonderful display. And like Tim, like they got a nice house. It's not like a horrible house, but
no, it's a nice house. It's a big house when you really think about it.
like we never even like see it fully from the outside. Like we always see it from like different angles and stuff. And I don't know, like the basement's enormous too.
I'm looking at plans for the house that people have drawn based on like what they see on TV, and it's like a decent sized house, really.
Yeah, and they always have like guests during the holidays. Like Tim's brother comes, like Jill's sister, and like Jill's parents, and like they're all there at the same time. And you're like,
yeah,
whoa, rooms galore. All right, hold on. I just Googled Doc Johnson real quickly. Doc Johnson is a sex toy company that was founded in 1976.
That is wild.
It's like a wild inside joke. In 2012, LA Magazine called it the Procter & Gamble of sex toys.
Wow.
And you can buy their products at a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Walgreens, and other food and drug stores. So they're like legit. This ain't your Adam and Eve stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Future sponsor of the podcast.
I'm just trying to like picture like walking into like the Kroger and being like, oh, I gotta pick up this little like sex toy.
You got, you know what? Hold on. You got like your cucumber, and then you got like the actual like sex toy, and like the clerk looks at both of them and is like looking for the number on the dildo, and she's like, where's the produce code? Like price check. We get a price check on this weird cucumber looking thing, and then like the manager comes over and like three other employees, and they're like trying to figure it out, and meanwhile like a little crowd is circled around you.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's a dildo. There's a barcode on it. Just scan it. Just get it, please, so I can get out of here. Now that everyone's seen you.
Another reason to use curbside pickup.
You know what? That should be the commercial for curbside pickup. All right. So after that, then Brad and Randy come running in the house. They're like all upset. Or well, mostly Randy. Brad's not really as upset as Randy, but
yeah,
they were trying out, quote unquote, for the like local pageant. I guess it's at the school, like through the school.
It's a church thing.
I don't think it's ever really specified. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Brad's the shepherd, and he's like, nice, I got no lines.
Like Brad's like down to do as little work as possible, but he's like doing the pageant to make Jill happy. That's totally what this is.
Yeah, I feel like this is a thing that the kids like have to do, kind of thing. Like, you know what? Like, I don't ask for much. I don't ask for you guys to do too much, but can you just do the Christmas pageant once a year?
I mean, really, all Jill asks is they don't torture their little brother. They don't become con artists.
Yeah, which they kind of do.
They do. Multiple times. Jill tries real hard with these boys. They just make it really hard.
You know what? I can see why she went to psychology. She had to like figure out like what her kids are up to.
Yeah.
All right, so Randy's like wildly upset. And he was like really trying to go for the role of Joseph. He wanted to be Joseph so bad. And instead, George Lonergan got the role of Joseph. Randy, he's what, the innkeeper?
Yeah, he's the innkeeper.
And he's got like one line. And it's like, we don't get any rooms at the inn. It's like that famous Bible line or whatever. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know it. But like Tim's like, you know what? Why don't you do some ad-libbing? Why don't you add in, here's our reservation number. You can give it a call. Maybe we'll find you something.
Yeah.
At a nearby inn. It kind of comes into play later on in the episode, actually.
Yeah.
So Jill's like, kind of feels for Randy. She's like, I'm sorry that George Lonergan got the part. Like, he was the kid who was in the school play last year. He couldn't remember any of his lines. Like, I don't know why they would have picked him. And Randy's like, it's because his dad built the stage.
Yeah, like his dad built the set. And it's like, oh, and Jill's like, Tim, you should have built it. Which is hilarious because Jill does not want Tim building anything 95% of the time.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of like wildly out of character, but I think Jill was like, you know what, that would have got her son the part. But then she was like also upset at George Lonergan because of favoritism.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I feel like she was like working up a letter to write to the church or the school or whoever.
Yeah.
Like she was gonna march down there because she'll do it after goes and does the Christmas shopping the next day. I'm assuming was when she was gonna go. That's why she was itching for everyone to get their list in. I don't know, for like whatever reason we have like kind of like a Mark, Randy, and Brad corner. Like they're like in the corner of the room. Jill and Tim leave.
Like Jill goes to do something, like get laundry or something, and Tim goes to find more decorations for his holiday extravaganza on the roof. And it's three boys, and Mark's like talking about like, oh, well, I'm asking Santa for this. And Randy and Brad, the sociopaths they are, take this as a chance to fuck with the boy.
These toys cost money. Why do you think you get all these toys? And Mark's like, because, Santa makes the toys. He doesn't have to buy them. Like, I guess I appreciate the sincerity of, like, Brad and Randy, like, being like, you know what? I think it's time we try to spare you some embarrassment. Because he's still pretty young. Like, I feel like Santa is like a 10-year-old thing. Like, stop believing, right?
Yeah, he's 6.
I feel like he's got, like, a few more years. But, I guess if you have older brothers, though, like, the younger brother always, like, ages a little bit quicker mentally.
Yeah.
Brad and Randy are like, hey, Mark, we gotta tell you the truth. There's no Santa. But not only that, like, not only is there no Santa, but he died 6 years ago, so you missed, like, the glory years.
Yeah, you, like, missed out on actual Santa, because he died, he got into the thing with Blitzen, and, like, it's, like, this dark, traumatic story that the boys tell him.
And then, like, Brad and Randy just, like, skip the room. They, like, skip out. And, like, Mark is just, we just get this, like, long hanging shot on Mark's face, and he looks like he's just gonna, like, burst into tears. But before that happens, there's, like, a decoration of Santa, like, on the coffee table, and it, like, just, like, randomly falls over.
Yeah.
And Mark, like shrieks. He's, like, horrified. I don't know what happened there. Like, it's like a ghost in the house or something. Like, the ghost of Santa did this. I don't know.
Well, it's probably, like, Tim doing something to the house, creating a vibration, and that ornament fell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's that hanging roof over the living room, right? So he's probably up on the roof.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. You know what? He's drilling in the turntable for like the turn in Santa decoration that's on the roof. So that probably was like shaking the coffee table, the glass like on the coffee table down. So it's ones that you can like pick up the glass and it like sits on the little rubber thing to keep it from sliding. Yeah, and it like fell over. So then we kind of get so, like, Tim's dealing with, like, ornament stuff, and somehow, like, Mark, like, approaches Jill and Tim, like, when Tim's in the middle of, like, taking a break from ornaments, and they kind of, like, bring up dead Santa. They're like, Mom, is it true that Santa really died 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Before, like, literally the year I was born.
Yeah, like, is it true Santa died because Blitzen, like, danced on him?
Yeah, it was just like a Christmas party gone awry.
Like,
Blitzen had too many cocktails.
And they're like, wait, what? He's like, well, Brad and Randy said, and then Tim and Jill are just like, oh, dear God, now we gotta fix this mess. Those boys are dead men.
Jill knew that the end was near for like Mark believing in Santa, but she wanted just like one more year. She just wanted like one more year of like sweet Mark.
Yeah.
Sweet Mark. It's like a no wonder that Mark went goth like in later seasons because of his asshole brothers.
For real, like, these boys tortured this poor child.
We gotta do, like, a ranking, because I actually think Randy is, like, the real evil genius in this, and Brad's just kind of like the goon, like the hired help. He's the muscle.
Yeah, 100%. Randy is, like, the brains of the whole thing, and you'll realize that, like, later on, after Randy goes to, like, Costa Rica or whatever.
Panama.
Wherever, like, because Brad doesn't have anybody telling him to do evil things, even though or stupid things.
So he becomes like a good boy.
Sorta, until he starts dating like the older woman and wants to marry her.
Whoa. I don't think I've ever seen the final season of Home Improvement, so this is all like new territory to me. I just know Gothmark.
I don't think that is the final season. I think that's like the season before the final season. Because I think I remember watching like Home Improvement before Dawson's Creek would come on.
It was on like 8:30 or something, and Dawson's was on at 9. Yeah, and you're just like, all right, whatever. I'll just see what's going on in the Taylor house.
Yeah.
So.
And I wasn't in like Buffy mode.
I don't know. I'm like, you have like the typical television evil kids. So you have like Dennis the Menace from like the 50s and 60s or whatever. And that's like pretty much it until like Bart Simpson, maybe. You get like Bart Simpson, like 89.
Yeah. Well,
and then
you get Bart Simpson, you get Zach Morris.
Okay.
Around the same time.
Yeah, Zach Morris is more of like a scheming teen. I'm thinking like a young kid though.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I'm trying to like think of like who out of the three. You got Bart, you got Randy Taylor, and you got Dennis the Menace. Like who's the worst? Like who is just the most vindictive of the three? Because I'm leaning towards Randy, like, after this episode.
I'm leaning towards Dennis.
Really?
I'm just thinking about how he tricked that poor babysitter into thinking Joey was him.
I mean, I think Dennis is just kind of like innocently evil. Like he's not intentionally evil.
Mm-hmm.
He's just naive. He just doesn't know about the world, and he just takes things literally.
Okay, then yeah, Randy, because Randy or Bart?
Bart's kind of like that too, but I feel like Bart has a conscience that like Randy doesn't have for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, maybe this is why Randy had to leave the country to go do some good.
Yeah, like he had to. Like, I don't know. Maybe he like ran into like a fortune teller somewhere who was like, "I see nothing but darkness in your future," and he wanted to correct his ways. Because I mean, like literally, the last time we did Home Improvement, Randy and Brad were like, they're doing like a UNICEF kind of thing and like taking money for like charity, but buying like Game Boy games and comic books and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like Bart wouldn't go that low. But he did cut off the head of Jebediah Springfield. So it's kind of like...
I mean, I was going to say, he did take out a credit card in Santa's Little Helper's name and buy another dog and then gave up Santa's Little Helper.
Do we have bonus episode? We're gonna do like a Randy Bardoff.
Ooh.
Write that down on the notepad. We'll have to get hot examples. Maybe we'll have like people vote in, and we'll rate the examples.
Rate the examples. Randy Taylor versus Bart Simpson.
Yeah, maybe we can do it for March Madness. We can do brackets when we're in the March doldrums, right after Jason Bateman month and Cancel Too Quickly month here at the pod.
Okay, I wrote it down.
All right, it's happening. It's official. It's in the books.
It's on a Post-it note.
It's happening. Unless that Post-it note blows away in the wind when Tim Allen's on your rooftop.
Oh my goodness.
And the vibration of him being on the rooftop causes the notepad to blow away. All right, so Randy's evil. Brad's like his minion. Randy's like the Joker, and Brad's like the college kid that the Joker picks up when he needs like hired goons, like Muscle. That's Brad.
Oh my god, yes, that's totally it.
But I also think Brad's like I actually kind of think like Brad's kind of innocent in a way too, though. I don't know why. Like there's a point in this episode, Brad's like in his room or something. He's like looking out the window and he's watching Tim on the roof like put up the decorations, and he's like mesmerized by this. It like takes him back to like a younger age, I think. It takes him back to being like 5 or 6, and he's just like mesmerized by all the little ornaments and lawn decorations and stuff that Tim's putting up there, and that's my impression. I don't know how you take Brad.
I take Brad as he's kind of like just the doofy older brother, you know?
And we're not like, what's it? We're like a year away until he starts like dating Jennifer, and then he's like into Jennifer after that. Like he doesn't care about like pranks and shit anymore. Mm-hmm. Like that's over with.
For the most part, yeah. That's
my Randy and Brad corner.
Okay.
But you know what? He's got that like innocent look to him though, so I think like people just kind of, he gets away with a lot because he's Randy.
It's JTT, so
he gets away with a lot. He's like a Kennedy kid. He's like JFK's nephew.
Oh my gosh.
Driving off the Chappaquiddick.
Okay.
You know what? We do need like an adult check-in with the Taylors. I feel like I just want like a 2020. It doesn't have to be like a full series, just like a special, like where they're at now.
You know, like one of those little, like those old school made for TV movie reunion things.
Yeah, like Growing Pains and stuff used to do. But I want them, it's like Christmas, and I want them to call like Randy in prison. Like he gets his one phone call a year, and they call him in prison, and he's in his like little orange jumpsuit.
See, I was just thinking Randy is probably one of those like Twitter activists like that. Like they say a lot of stuff on Twitter, but then they what do they really do? Con people out of money.
Oh.
Ooh, who was that That dude, the video to, like, get the African warlord dude.
Oh, Coney 2012?
Yes. Yes. Randy is totally the guy who's behind that. That he has, like, the breakdown and he's naked in the street and he has to rebuild his life.
Randy 2012.
That's it. That's it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that theory. I like that theory. He's or he's like Martin Shkreli. He buys all the Wu-Tang catalog of that that Wu-Tang CD for like $10 million and he won't release it or something anywhere.
Yeah.
Like the only copy.
And even Wu-Tang's like, bitch, what the fuck?
I know, like even Wu-Tang can't listen to it because he bought it and like now he's in jail and I don't know. He can't sell it, I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plans are. So that's Brad and Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as we go into Bart versus Randy, maybe we'll revisit it again. Or maybe Kat Hell said the author will do like a Randy 2012 fanfic in the vein of Stephanie's Wilder Ride, which is coming soon. She's got a few chapters written.
There might be a chapter.
Good enough for me. I enjoyed that one chapter. I was like...
that I just like dropped into your DMs one night.
You know, I'm gonna put it on the AVSP or Salty Rock website. I might throw it up there, like a sneak peek, and people gotta vote if they want more. It's like when you used to vote on Amazon pilots.
Oh my god!
Like, should Kat write another chapter? Click here to vote. All right.
Okay.
Poor Mark. He's really being tested by his brothers. He's kind of like in this personal dilemma now where he kind of like believes his brothers because, you know, his brothers are always right, even though they've lied to him like dozens of times. I feel like every episode up to this point, they probably lied to him.
Yeah.
About something.
They're always messing with that poor boy.
Yeah. You figured he would have figured this out by now.
If Randy and Brad tell you something, it's probably not true.
Oh, hold on. I have a hot new theory. I have a hot new Mark theory.
Okay.
Mark got Randy deported from America. That's why Randy had to go to Costa Rica or whatever.
Oh, I don't think it works that way.
I don't know. Mark found something. Mark found a way to get him, like kicked out of the country. It's like that book, like A Man Without a Country or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? Like maybe Mark faked like selling nuclear facility blueprints to like North Korea or something. And he like somehow like traced it back to Randy's computer using you know what? Mark has some like cool like hacker friends like in his goth circle.
Oh my gosh.
So he got Randy deported. That's why Randy's out of the country. Randy had to flee. But he came back in 2012 because he tried to win back America's heart, trying to find that Nigerian warlord. All right, poor Mark. Let's get back to Mark. We're in overtime.
Yeah, let's get back to poor little Mark. Okay, so, you know, he's having this, like, whole, like, oh, they told me Santa's not real. They told me Santa was dead, yada, yada. And, you know, Jill and Tim are, like, kind of torn on, like, how to handle this whole situation. They don't really, like, know what to do, how to make this better for Mark.
Do you know what you do when you don't know what to do and when you're in the, I don't know, suburban Detroit area? You go to Wilson's house. He always knows what to do.
Wilson always knows what to do.
And this is kind of like a weird, all of Wilson's things are weird, but it's been a while since I've seen Wilson, so it just kind of like caught me off guard. Mm-hmm. Tim's like outside doing his decorations, and Wilson just kind of like, how do you do, neighbor? And nice, like, Santa sack that you have up there on the roof. And Tim's like, oh, thanks. He's like, are you doing your decorations? And he's like, oh, no. He's like, the tree is in my heart. He's like, and the star is my brain or whatever. And Tim's like, so you plug it all into your belly button kind of thing? We get like a weird dad joke there. And it works. Like, it's kind of funny. And then it kind of like springboards into the whole like Mark's dilemma with Santa Claus. And he's like, you know,
yeah,
it just kind of sucks that Santa's not real. And Wilson's like, well, you know what? Santa is real, Tim. He is dead, but he is real. Like, in the year 300, like, St. Nicholas would go down, like, through to the poor neighborhoods and drop, like, sacks of gold down chimneys or something. There's some little Wilson-y type story.
It's history lesson time.
Yeah, and then he's like, you know, and he's like, and ever since then, he's like, the spirit of Santa lives on, even though he died, you know, like, 1,700 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Tim's like, you know what? You're right. He's like, that's it. Like, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to explain that to Mark. It's time we tell Mark the spirit of Santa is still alive. He may not be real. He may not be in physical form, but he's still alive. And hopefully I can get him one of those remote control dinosaurs before Christmas Eve, because those things are hard to find. I've looked everywhere. Went to every toy store in town. Wilson's like, well, you know what? Miracles do happen, Tim. Miracles do happen.
Miracles happen.
Foreshadowing, you think? Foreshadowing?
I think so.
Because what happens next? What happens next?
So, Jill is coming back from rehearsal with the boys. She has been going overboard this whole time.
Yeah, we have to talk about that. We kind of skipped over this.
Totally gone stage mom overboard. Like, dear God, thank God YouTube was not a thing back then, because Randy and Brad would have been like two little like kid YouTubers, and Jill would have like wound them up to be something, let me tell you. You know, they go to rehearsal, like she's been like going overboard on his innkeeper costume. She like comes back with this gold fabric for him to use as his cape. And Randy's like, Mom, isn't this a bit much? She's like, if you're going to be an innkeeper, you're going to be like a good innkeeper. You're going to be like profitable.
You're going to be like the Hilton.
Yeah, like
Royal Hilton Gardens innkeeper.
Over the top hat, which I can't even fathom where she found that hat unless she found like some year-round costume store.
It kind of reminded me of like some like fancy old lady like rocking chair seat cover for some reason.
It was
just wild. And she like throws it on Randy. She like throws it on him. And Tim comes like walking in. He's like, whoa, like what's this? Jill's like, oh, like, you know what? He's going to be, as you said, he's going to be like the top notch, like innkeeper.
Yeah.
And like Randy's embarrassed. He's like, I don't know. He's like, this is just like the pageant. I literally have one line. You know what? Can't I just wear like a hoodie, like a Detroit Tigers hoodie or whatever their team is?
The Lions, honey, the Lions.
I had a cat right. I had the animal right, sort of.
Barely.
So Randy's upset, but I guess he goes through it anyway. And they end up like going to the pageant, and then Randy kind of like ad-libs.
They go to pageant rehearsal. It's the rehearsal. So they go to the rehearsal, you know, Jill's there with them. You know, Brad's doing his thing as a speechless shepherd, and Randy improvises some lines. The director is not okay.
No.
Is not happy because, like, Randy raises the rate of the room and all this stuff. He goes overboard. He says, like, call 1-800 hotel reservations or something. Like, you know, he's making a joke.
He kind of used Tim's line because Tim like suggested it, so he kind of went with it. So I don't know. You think Jill would blame Tim, but I don't think she heard Tim talking to Randy about that. But Randy, being the evil genius, he takes credit for all the crimes that he did. He doesn't say it was inspired by Daddy-O.
But Randy, you know, improvises these lines. They don't like it. And he gets demoted to a sheep, and then he's just completely destroyed. Completely destroyed.
I can just picture Jill going back to like the Dollar Tree looking for like a sheep costume left over from Halloween or something for Randy to wear.
Okay, you've never been to a Dollar Tree, have you?
I go all the time.
Really?
You don't think they have this kind of stuff there?
I know they don't. At least not the ones I go to.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to go, the next time I'm at a Dollar Tree, I'm going to find like a little, like something woolly that looks like it could be a sheep costume.
Can't be cotton balls in the beauty supply section, though. I feel like Jill is hitting up Joann's.
Joann's Fabrics? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's very Joanne Fabrics-y.
But, so Jill's like, you know, Randy, I kind of pushed you. I went overboard, too. She's, like, not totally mad at Randy.
No. You know what? She probably thought it was funny. She probably laughed at the line, let's be real.
Flipping through her, like, Better Homes and Garden, and she heard it and she chuckled.
You don't think she was reading Psychology Today?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, you don't think that like her origin story of wanting to be a psychology major is like she just goes to the library and gets these like random psychology magazines or journals?
Yeah, no, she's reading Better Home and Garden.
Okay, she's getting ideas for around the home. She wants to have a better garden than Mrs. Doc Johnson, the lady proctologist.
You know, Jill's got her own secret like.
Oh, you know what? I want in like the eventual simultaneous Jill series that like takes place, like it'll star a different actress because Patricia Richardson's too old, but it'll take place in the 90s and it'll be like side adventures with Jill, and it'll be like her own feuds.
Oh my god.
It'll take place during like when the kids are really young and she's home a lot more.
So in the 80s.
Yeah, like the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, like those adventures. And it's her like going toe to toe with Lady Bird Johnson.
She's like totally like got a feud with some lady at the bake sale.
Oh, yeah. The bake sale moms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait for it. That's coming after the Randy 2012 fanfic.
Oh my god.
They're back from pageant rehearsal, and that's kind of like peak Mark's dilemma, right? That's like,
they're getting back, and like, you know, Jill apologized, and then she's like, okay, who wants hot chocolate? And like, she just has the hot chocolate on the stove.
yeah, and like she pulls out like cookies from the stove at one point too, and they're like perfectly cooked. You gotta let them sit for a few minutes because otherwise they would just like stick to the pan and break apart.
Yeah, like you gotta let them like finish on the pan for a couple minutes before you like move them. But it's like a TV thing.
Yeah.
You know, just automatically put these cookies that are decorated straight out of the oven.
Gracie Allen would be upset at this. She wouldn't like this.
Gracie Allen does not approve.
Yes. So anyway, so Jill decides this is the time to have a sit down with Mark. She's going to tell him the truth about Santa. And like she starts like telling the story. She's like, you know, so you get to a certain age and all of a sudden, you know, people are going to start telling you stories about Santa. Mm-hmm. But before like she can finish, there's like a knock at the door. Who could it be? So Tim goes to get the door.
Yeah.
And he answers it, and it's apparently like Wilson dressed up like Santa Claus, and Tim's like, wow, Wilson, good costume, great costume.
Yeah.
And even like Brad or Randy are like, oh, that's Wilson.
Yeah, like
they knew.
It's Wilson. Like he comes in and he talks to Mark and he gives Mark the remote control dinosaur.
He gives him batteries for the remote control too.
Yes, because Santa batteries are included. And then he like looks at Brad and Randy. I've done this the whole episode.
It's all right.
Brad and Randy.
There's so many of them.
And he's like, you know, even though you don't believe in me, I still have something for you. So he like takes a rubber band off his wrist and gives it to Brad. And then he gives a button to Randy.
Yeah.
And the looks on their faces is just amazing.
Well, actually, like, Brad's like, hey, Santa, do you have any presents for us? And that's how we get that whole line. So I feel like Santa was like, oh, like he wasn't intending to give him anything. And he just happened to have that rubber band on his wrist. And then like he just pulled a button off his jacket. And like, here you go, kids.
He's like, here's my spare button. Mrs. Claus makes me carry.
But it was also like a sly dick move too. 'Cause like, it's going to be like, you know what? You fuck with Santa. This is what you get. You get a rubber band.
Yeah.
And you get a button. And you know what? Mark gets everything. And it's like before Christmas, too. It's like a few days before Christmas, I think.
It's definitely a few days before Christmas because they're still rehearsing for the pageant.
Yeah.
That pageant's going to be like the 23rd or 24th, let's be real.
Oh, yeah. The Sunday before Christmas or something.
Yeah.
So then Wilson leaves, or Santa, quote unquote, leaves. Tim was just kind of like talking to Jill like by herself. And he's like, wow, that was like so nice of Wilson to do that. And it's literally like right when Santa walked out the door.
He's like, you know that Wilson, he's a great guy.
Jill looks out the slider door and she's like, wait. You mean that Wilson who's like in his Wilson attire, like on the other side of the fence? And he like waves at them.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, how could Wilson get from the front door to the backyard that quick? And then like Mark like runs to the door and you hear like the little like sleigh bells and he's like staring up and he's like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. We kind of like accidentally just stumbled on like 2 episodes where Santa actually is real in this universe.
Yeah.
Because we got that last week with I Love Lucy. But
I like when that happened in this episode, I was like, Lucy did it. Lucy created this whole thing.
Lucy did it first. All right. So important question for you. Was that really Santa? Or was that Wilson and he just had like a tearaway costume and he like ran back over really quick?
I do not believe Wilson could move that fast, so it was totally really Santa.
Okay.
Because Mark goes to the door and he looks out the door and he sees Santa in the sky. Or something that he thinks is Santa.
So did Wilson see Santa though too?
Probably. I think so. Wilson knows what's up.
Alright, so does Wilson know Santa?
Obviously.
Wait, hold on. Because that Santa Claus looked very Wilson-y. Is Wilson and Santa related? Are they twins?
You know, there's the whole Santa lore where Santa passes it down to his kid or whatever. You know, it's a major trope in Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And what if there's Santa and he had 2 sons? He had Nicky and Wilson.
Nicky Claus. I love this.
So Wilson, you know, gets to go off and journey and explore the world. And that's why he knows, like, all these amazing things, while his brother becomes the next Santa Claus.
So they're twins, right? They look alike?
Yeah, they're twins at the very least.
This is 100% accurate. And then when Wilson was talking to Tim earlier in the episode and he heard, like, the Mark dilemma, he's like, you know what? And he's like, miracles do happen. He went back to his house. He has a secret Santa phone.
Yeah.
It's like the bat phone. He like picks up the little bust of a head.
Yeah.
He hits a button. You know, Santa's in the North Pole or wherever he's at the moment. And like his little beeper goes off and he answers the call. And he's like, we have an emergency. He's like, I need you in the greater Detroit region. Pronto. How fast can you get here? And Santa's like, I could probably be there like within the hour. And he's like, perfect, perfect. I'll make sure they're all home. I'll make sure they're all home. You know what? I'll make sure shenanigans ensue at the pageant rehearsal. He has got powers. Wilson's got powers too. They have the claws magic.
Yes, obviously, Wilson has to have some sort of powers.
In addition to being a cult leader, is also Santa Claus's brother. Ooh, is this a Christmas cult?
Ooh, maybe.
I like this. I like this Christmas cult that's in the greater Detroit region. I see this idea. You know what? Doc Johnson's like part of it too. He's like somehow into it. That's why he's a spry 76-year-old man, because he's like he still has that magic that's keeping him going.
What if the poor, like, mole women are the ones who have to decorate Doc Johnson's house?
Ooh, yeah. I like it. You know what? Because Doc Johnson is, like, funding this. He's funding the, this whole, like, outfit that Wilson has underneath his house, the little Christmas cult that's underneath his house. And you know what? He has the, the Detroit mole women. They're working all year long on, like, Christmas decorations. That's what they do between Christmases.
Yeah, it's like that's all they do is they, like, work and put together, like, these displays so that Doc Johnson can just snap them into place.
Yep, they're like Lego bricks.
Okay, so this is the thing about Doc Johnson and Tim. The way I imagine it is that Doc Johnson has a clean display. Everything is cohesive. It makes sense together. Tim is like hodgepodging different things together. It kind of looks messy.
From like the little bits that we do see of Tim's decorations, I'm always just like not impressed. I'm like, it's like, it just looks like he just went to the Christmas store, bought everything they had, and then just added his like more power flair to it.
Yeah. Exactly. He doesn't have like a choir, the blow mold choir boys like lined up. You know, he doesn't have the preciseness that Doc Johnson has. He's just kind of like tosses everything on the roof.
Yeah, I feel like Doc Johnson is a theme every year. Like maybe like one year he does like the Nativity, the next year he does Santa's Workshop, and then he has like, I don't know, Frosty.
Yeah, and then he's got like the Nutcracker Suite or something, you know? Like there's a story and there's... I mean, okay, so I have watched every episode of The Great Christmas Light Fight.
That's a thing?
That's a thing.
We have to do bonus app, write it down.
Oh my god. You know, and they like take the 4 families and they have like the 4 different displays, and like these families all have different reasons for why they do the displays. Some of the displays are very cohesive. It's just kind of like one thing throughout. Others are like little dioramas throughout kind of placed together, and then others are just like this cluster of all kinds of stuff.
It's just like Christmas clearance sale.
Yeah.
All at once, all together, everything tied together. I love it. I stand. You know what? While you were talking about that, I started thinking of Christine Baranski's character on A Bad Mom's Christmas.
Yeah.
She was like super into the decorations too. I feel like she'd be a contender in this neighborhood if she moved into the greater Detroit.
Totally, because I did finally watch that movie.
And she has the fucking turtle doves fly out of the box. I'm surprised Tim never thought of that.
Yeah, we're probably really lucky because it would have been like a power jet box that would have killed the birds.
We would have just saw feathers, like feathers like float down in front of them. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. It's kind of been a while since I've really gone through Home Improvement. I mean, it's a show that I've watched, but it was mostly in my youth. Do we ever meet Doc Johnson, or is he just like an unseen character?
I believe that he is just an unseen character.
Okay.
Because eventually, there is one year where Tim is stuck in an airport, so he can't finish the display. And the boys win the lighting contest against Doc Johnson.
Okay. Isn't there like a year where like Al gets involved in it?
Yeah. So then Doc Johnson moves out of town and Al buys his house. And then Al wins the lighting contest.
Like that's like an origin story for like it's like the X-Men. It's like Professor X and Magneto. Like they used to be friends. Mm-hmm. Al won the Christmas light contest, and now they're mortal enemies.
Yeah.
And it's like a grumpy old men scenario. It's like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. Just 2 old men, and they've hated each other for years.
Or it's like, what is it? That movie with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito.
I don't think I know this movie.
Oh my god. They're like, Matthew Broderick is like your like classic guy. He likes Christmas. He has it like planned out he knows what day they're getting the tree each year. He has like this wood advent calendar, what day the lights are going up, yada yada. And then, you know, he's got it down. Like he's the town Christmas guy. And then Danny DeVito moves into the house across the street. He's like kind of your con artisty kind of guy. He's always like going from town to town, job to job.
Ooh, I like it.
He starts putting up Christmas lights, and like it gets bigger. They both kind of start fighting. It's called Deck the Halls.
Yes, I was gonna say I have it up.
I'm trying to find see the DVD from where I'm sitting, and I can't. But yeah.
Do you want to know the hot cast list? Because I'm just reading this cast list.
The cast list is fucking amazing.
It's got Danny DeVito, Matthew Broderick, Kristen Davis, Kristen Chenoweth, Alia Shawkat, Jorge Garcia from Lost, Fred Armisen, Sushin Pak from like MTV, Corey Monteith, Cal Penn. Like, whoa! Like, I was not expecting this.
Oh my god, you gotta watch it. We gotta figure out a way that I could play a DVD and watch a movie with you. We gotta figure out how to do that.
So if you have the if you buy a movie now and you do the like the DVD code, like you like enter it into your movies.com account or whatever, you can share with the friends. But I don't know if you could do it on old movies though.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
You know what? I'll take a look at it later. I'll let you know if I can figure it out. Maybe Deck the Halls is available, and we can maybe we can add it in as a bonus ep.
We just need to have like a movie night.
Deck the Halls. All right. Anything else to add on Home Improvement? Anything I'm missing before I ask the age-old question? Oh, we kind of missed the final scene where the firemen come.
Oh, right. So
I don't think it was the final scene, but the firemen come.
Yeah, that wasn't like the final scene. Like, Tim's trying to work on the roof, and he's just trying to figure out where to put all these decorations. Like, they don't look like they make sense together. That's what we're like.
It's the hodgepodge.
Like, he's got like wood cutouts and floodlights, and it's just.
I wasn't impressed.
Not it.
He basically he falls on the roof. He slips on the ice. He gets whacked in the head by the rotating Santa, and then by like his face falls on the hammer, and it's so cold out that the hammer sticks to his lips, and he can't get the hammer off.
Yeah.
So Jill just calls 911 because she don't feel like driving Tim to the hospital. Tim doesn't like being driven to the hospital. We learn.
Yeah.
It's like it comes up in the episode. Jill is like, I don't want to drive you to the hospital again, and he's like, you never drive me to the hospital. And she's like, I drive you to the hospital all the time. He's like, when was the last time? And it's like the 80s or something. But anyway. I gather that they just called 911 a lot. It's just easier, I guess.
Yeah.
The fire department's there, and they're like fans of Tool Time. Mm-hmm. And they're like helping Tim get the I don't know, they spray it with some kind of like
liquid or something.
Yeah, it's like a squirt. It's probably just water, like hot water. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably like warm water so that like it starts to thaw and release.
Yeah, and then they give him some kind of patch thing to put over his lip. It's probably some like numbing agent, like lidocaine or something. It just kind of like numbs his lips, so it's not like burning the whole time. And they're like talking to Tim, and they're just kind of like, oh, like, maybe next year just leave the Christmas decorations to the real pros, like, Doc Johnson out there. Oh. Jill gives them like some cookies and some hot cocoa or something, and they leave. And like as soon as the fire department, they like open up the door to leave, you see like 4 or 5 reporters. You see like the lights and cameras. There's like the on the field reporter, and they're like, Tim, come tell us about like what's happening. And they like quickly like slam the door. And I just love the idea, like if 911 gets called at the Taylor house because he is a celebrity, like you get those people that are listening to like police scanners, and they're like, oh, that's Taylor's house. Like, let's go. And they like fly down there to like see what's going on. Cause I'm sure there's some interesting stories over the years. Like I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, I can just picture, like, the local news. It's like, and local cable superstar Tim Taylor is injured again when he slipped on his roof late last night, putting up decorations for the local neighborhood Christmas light contest, and he got a hammer stuck to his lips. But I'm sure, like, you hear a wild story. Like, he gets another one. It's like he gets a nail through his hand.
This week in the Tim Taylor injury update.
Yeah, they have to, like, hire, like, a special department that does the Tim Taylor reports.
There's, like, one reporter who, like, is on the Tim Taylor beat, and, like, every week he just, like, goes through, like, what's happened.
Yeah, you get, like, it's, like, in the paper. There's, like, a column. It's, like, a weekly column. I love it. Mm-hmm. And then the show finally ends with, like, despite trying to, like, sabotage the contest for Doc Johnson, and promising Jill that he wouldn't go forward with the lights, he does it anyway, and they go out in the backyard to see it. He has, like, that old little, like, switch that he pulls down. It's like he pulls the switch down.
Where'd you buy that stuff? Like, where'd you buy that stuff? Did you just pick that up at the Radio Shack?
I mean, I guess if you work for Binford, you have access to all this stuff.
I guess so, yeah.
Binford, you know what, he probably, like, tells Binford that, you know what, I need, like, an old-timey, like, Acme switch. Can you get one? And they're like, I mean, they don't exist really, but we'll find one. We'll make one for you, Tim. You know, you shill our brand.
Mm-hmm.
You shill our brand, so we'll do whatever we want for you. So he like pulls the switch back. The lights like turn on, and they're all like, ooh, ah. And then they all blow out. Like, it's that Christmas vacation thing.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, Tim did try to get Doc Johnson's power turned off.
Oh yeah, he called up the local power. He called up Edison Power, and he's like, "Hey, this is like Doc Johnson from 32 Sumter Street. I'm going out of the house for 2 hours, going to dinner with the fam, but I don't want to run the power. Can you think you could shut the lights off of the old Johnson house?" And the guy's like, "Tim, is that you?"
Tim, we're not doing this. You tried this last year.
And it didn't work last year either. Oh, and we also missed that at the very beginning of the episode in the Tool Time segment that Tim grunts the Jingle Bell song. He's like, hur, 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 hur.
Yeah,
which is kind of uncomfortable to watch, not gonna lie.
The grunting in 2020 does not work the way it did in 1991.
No, I used to laugh at it. I used to be, when he'd be like, arr, I would like think that was funny. And now I'm just like, ugh.
I mean, okay, so like if I was watching like Last Man Standing and out of nowhere Tim Allen did that, I'd be like, wait,
yeah,
you know?
Like you might laugh because it's an old timey joke, maybe.
Yeah, like I might be like, oh, ha.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Especially if it's like an episode that had like Patricia Richardson or Jonathan Taylor Thomas on it.
Oh yeah, wasn't Jonathan Taylor Thomas on an episode of Last Man Standing? And he's like, "Don't I know you from somewhere?"
Yeah, he was on a couple episodes, and so was Patricia.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, you ready for the age-old question?
Oh my gosh!
On a scale of 1 out of 5 grunting jingle bells, do you need a reminder?
3.5.
Okay, that's respectable. I'm gonna give it a same score. I'm gonna go 3.5 also. It wasn't a horrible episode of Home Improvement. It wasn't a great episode of Home Improvement.
It's not like the best Christmas episode. It's a really good first Christmas episode. You get like little different Christmas aspects. You get the list to Santa. You get the pageant. You get the visit from the real Santa, who they think is somebody in a costume. You get the lighting contest. You get you have all these elements. It feels like it's a real family at Christmas.
And it's not too big. Like I feel like some other episodes later on down the line, they try to more power up the Christmas thing, but this is like the first one, so it's very realistic compared to, I think, later Christmas adventures. Because I don't know, like the idea of like Doc Johnson move out of town and like Al buying the house and winning the Christmas contest is just such like a, of course that happens kind of thing. But this episode is just it's very low key, and I dig it. And it's early on in the show. It's the 12th episode of the series as a whole, and we get a lot of the elements that what holds the show together.
Yeah,
and it's great. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, like I got home from work last night. I made my dinner. I think I watched an episode of The Conners, and then I put this on. So it was like it was 1991 all over again.
Yeah, there you go. Like this night of television all over again.
Practically. I'm
excited for next week. Next week, we're keeping up with the Christmas theme. We're going to do a show that we haven't actually done before, and it's actually a Kat suggestion, and she's a big fan of the show. We've never done it. I don't think we've talked about it a few times. I don't think we've really gotten into it. It takes place in the future. It's an animated series from the creators of The Simpsons. It's a little-known show called Futurama, and we're going to do the episode in which... it's like the first episode with like the crazy Santa flying around, because I think there's more than one.
Yeah, the robot Santa who is vengeful and angry.
Yes, it's great because like Fry's like, oh, like I love Christmas, Santa Claus, and the Santa Claus, no, like he went rogue.
They're like, dude, no, it's great. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
He went rogue 200 years ago, and now we hide from him every year. So join us next week.
I mean, like, okay, I just want to point out, I am a girl who has a painting of Bender on her wall.
I know.
I have a Planet Express sticker on my car.
Yeah, I want to point out that when I was talking about Futurama, Kat turned her camera and faced the portrait of Bender on the wall. And it's right next to, like, the Kramer painting and what also looks like the General Mills cereal monsters puzzle, which we talked about in previous episodes. I need you, when this episode comes out, I need you to post a pic of your wall.
Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, it will be very Christmassy in here, too, so.
Because, I mean, it is like election day when we're recording this. We're still waiting for the results of
basically
the presidency. We've been
I mean, I just put up, like, fall decor on my wall the other day.
That gives you a time frame. So join us next week when we do Futurama. It'll be a fun time. And where can you follow our wild adventures, Cat? Said the author. Where can you follow us?
Oh, excuse me. You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Amazon Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcast Addict. Pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. You have found us somehow, so you should subscribe if you haven't already. You should binge listen, all that good stuff. And we have a Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
There's multiple levels with multiple goodies for you to enjoy.
Yes, and as always, girl, as always,
bye!
Watch the sky for Wilson's brother, Nicky Claus, flying away in his sleigh.